guess I get to go first here. Yeah, so the video did a great job of talking about that season. They didn't post the Inquirer article where Coach Hoffman said, "Yeah, we're not going to do well this year." I think it was they asked, "How are you going to bounce back from such a great year?" The quote was, "We don't rebuild, we retool." I think something along those lines. The article's hanging up in the tanks. But that season started off with Coach Hoffman saying to me, hey, we're going to, no matter what happens, maybe we'll just have you race a single and hopefully make a mark as a single sculler. The three guys behind me were really somewhat unknown before that year. The previous year, the boat had gone to, a large group of us has gone to England and finished, I think, the best that a U.S. crew had done there. So we were coming back riding high and graduated a bunch of guys. So it really was something special, the four of us that came together, and it was almost I'd say, a pairing of just a perfect combination of odd skills. I think we all kind of complemented each other in the perfect way. But, I do want to thank everyone. This is really a tremendous, tremendous recognition. It's, I think, when you do any kind of varsity sport, especially at Malvern, it requires a level of commitment that's beyond what one would expect from a high schooler. But then to carry it on and to be at this level was really a lot of sacrifices, namely to my family. So I want to thank my parents and my two sisters who are here, who didn't see me on too many family vacations or any kind of trips for 4 years, and then 4 years through college. Also want to thank my kids and my wife for coming out. It's really makes it extra special to have you guys here with me. I want to thank these three guys. They really kind of, like I said, complemented everything we were doing perfectly and made this especially tremendous year. Lastly, I want to recognize Ransom and Coach Hoffman. It's rare when you have a group and a rowing it's not the sexy sport at all. It's a sport where you're freezing cold on the water. I think my dad would say when he came down and saw us race at Schuylkill, we come down, it takes us an hour to get there, an hour to get home, and you guys fly by for 30 seconds, and I don't know if you're winning or losing or what, but so it's not the sexy sport at all. But these guys really instilled in me, and I think the other three will second that, a sense of leadership that has set me apart so far in my life and in my career. The lessons that I learned in those 4 years are far more than anything I can attribute successes to. So it's really tremendous what they were able to do for us. So that's all I've got, but thank you so much, and turn it over to these guys.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out on a night that not only celebrates athletic achievement, but also the dedication, sacrifice, and support of so many of you in this room. First, I want to thank the Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for their historic decision to nominate and induct the first ever Malvern Prep rowers. It is due to the very generous contributions of many in the audience tonight and the hard work and dedication of Coach Hoffman that this program has been built into the national powerhouse that it is. The four of us are just a sampling of many dozens of rowers that have benefited from all of your commitment and generosity. It is humbling to be inducted with two men that I had the privilege to watch play while I was a student here. Brian, I remember your accolades and achievements being the talk of the school and thinking to myself, if I could be that good at basketball, I would be set. It would be a couple days later that I would be cut from the 7th grade basketball team, and it became clear that, Brian, your records and achievements remain safe from me. Similarly, DJ, I remember your dominance on the football field and lacrosse field, And I think it was about the time that I caught a pass on the 50-yard line with a 25-yard head start and did not make it to the end zone that it became clear that my path to this stage would be somewhat different. But it is an honor to share the stage with both of you tonight. To Craig, Pat, and Justin, it was a unique and challenging time when you entered my life. And you stood tall next to me in some of my most difficult moments on and off the water, and I thank you for that. Some of the best years of my life so far were spent in that boat, and it is a distinct privilege to share this one more achievement with the three of you who I admire so greatly. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't acknowledge some teammates and rowers who came before us and rowed alongside us that helped build the program into what it is today. Guys like Joe Smart, Kyle Thurman, AJ DiValerio, Matt Hurley, Carter Lindborg, and so many others who I had the pleasure of rowing with and who had amazing careers in their own right and helped build the program to what it is today. Most of my closest friends to this day are guys that I met on this campus. Nearly a decade and a half since I last left here, there is very literally not a day that goes by that we are not all texting each other about mostly nonsense and Philadelphia sports. Your support to me was as critical then as it has been throughout my life's journey ever since. Rowing was a transformational period in my life, and without it, my life would be truly and deeply different. It was my parents who, after hours spent in hospital waiting rooms, first encouraged me to take a trip down to the river. 6 a.m. drop-offs for workouts, 8 p.m. pickups after practice down in Conshohocken happened so frequently that they all run together in my memory. So do the cost of flights around the world, caretaking after injuries, encouragement, the discipline, the unconditional love, and the pride that you've had in me. This honor commemorates not only athletic achievement, but the impact of your support, and I dedicate this to you both. One testament to your love is the loving relationship I have with my three brothers. Sean, Jimmy, and Devin, we may be separated by thousands of miles and several time zones, but we are as close now as we have ever been, and I love you each. I am privileged to have my grandfather here. He has traveled down to the river and across oceans to watch me compete. I want to thank you and my grandmother for being my #1 fan. And lastly, there are a few people that have had or could have had such a profound impact on my life as Craig Hoffman. Coach, you put my life on a path that I would never have been able to dream of on my own. After my parents, you are the single most impactful person that has ever entered my life and has been so selflessly dedicated not only to my success, but to the success of anybody that has rowed for you. All of the Malvern rowing community owes you a debt of gratitude. Rowing is unique in that once the racing begins, the coaching stops. There are no halftime adjustments, different play calls, things of that nature. All the coach can do is wait at the finish line and let the preparation run its course. In the same way, there is also one more person in the boat for every race, especially the national championships, which we celebrate tonight. Coach, you are in that boat with us every time. Make no mistake about it, while our names will be on the wall, you are with us in this honor. We have had and will continue to have many ups and downs, wins and losses, triumphs and tragedies, but what is absolutely true is that I would rather lose with you than win with anybody else. Again, thank you to everyone who has made this night so special. I appreciate the honor very deeply. Thank you.
I knew I'd be going third tonight, so I'll try not to cover the same ground too much here. I just want to start by saying that for me, this is really an unexpected honor. Rowers, as these guys have alluded to, we don't choose to pursue this sport with any expectation of recognition outside the potential for the winner's podium. We don't wear jerseys with identifying names or numbers. Moreover, professional rowing doesn't really exist, at least not in the U.S. So it also lacks the allure of fame or fortune for competing at the highest levels. And yet, even before tonight, rowing has been the single most rewarding endeavor of my life. It has enabled me to travel the world, pursue a Princeton education. It's been the conduit through which I developed my closest and most meaningful friendships, And crucially, it has provided me with the confidence and work ethic to meet the challenges that, life has thrown my way. Having been the beneficiary of so many positive externalities from my athletic career, it's, to echo Ryan, this additional honor is really humbling. I truthfully find it difficult to adequately articulate the depth of my gratitude to all the people that have helped me along the way. But I would like to just take a second and thank a few people here. First, again, to the committee for recognizing the crew team for the first time. Again, personal accolades aside, I think, when we won in 2004, there wasn't so much as a morning announcement, right? We did it just because we love to race. So now, having a level of legitimacy at the school and the school valuing our contributions and the team's development and evolution over the last 15 to 20 years is really fantastic. I'd like to thank my parents for the decision to send me to Malvern and the sacrifices they made, both financial and personal, to make that a reality for me. I know this was a challenging decision, and then, at times, it was painful to watch me struggle to achieve a sense of belonging here before I found rowing. I want you to know that I wouldn't trade my time at Malvern for any alternative in the world, whether it was, in your power to grant it or not. That struggle forced me to persevere and ultimately led me to experiences greater than I think you even dared to wish for me at the time. Second, I want to thank my teammates up here. Again, individuals don't win, boats do. And so, Craig, your leadership that year, it goes beyond words, what you did for us and the way you led the team. You were a stellar example in what was expected to be a rebuilding year. And for the life of me, I don't know what caused you to have faith that we could even compete against guys that were upwards of, half a foot taller, 40 pounds heavier, and some of which were destined for the Olympics. But I'm grateful that you did. Ryan, thanks for stepping up and delivering above and beyond what anyone could have reasonably expected for you. I know how difficult it was for you to come up to speed with, the technical aspects, the brutal training, and the abuse from Pat, which was nonstop. But your determination really made a difference for us. And Pat, I actually stopped and did the math. You've been one of my best friends for the last 20 years, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. I think the positive qualities that I have are, in large part due to just emulating, the tenacity and integrity that you exhibit every day. So I'm grateful that we've been able to stay close over that time frame, and frankly, I joined the crew team so we could hang out more, and 20 years later, here we are. Finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank Coach Hoffman. As I alluded to, my first few years at Malvern weren't easy for me. Not for any particular reason. Sometimes, Malvern's a fantastic institution, but there are, some of us who just fall through the cracks. I didn't have many friends those first few years. I didn't have an athletic bone in my body. My dad used to joke that I'd get winded running out the driveway. I can't tell you how much it meant to me that day when I walked into the tanks and you welcomed me in, and you told me that if I just did the work, I'd be successful. And I didn't appreciate the gravity of that statement at the time. You did moments later send me out on like an 8-mile run, which was terrible. But thankfully it was made it to the second day and the day after that, and that's what life's all about. And that was a lesson you provided to us. So it saddens me that you're no longer here at the school because you created a home for misfits like us, right? You gave us a path to success, and it's my hope that after tonight, with this level of acknowledgement that the team's received, that spirit continues, and that the rowing team continues to be a successful organization that welcomes people from all walks of life. So, thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Not averaging 150 pounds now, I tell you. Sorry. Yeah. Michael Jordan didn't make his 7th grade basketball team either, Ryan. He stuck with it. But seriously, I'll be brief. I just want to thank some people for their support of both me and the program. First of all, thanks to the committee, everyone who made tonight possible. Very much appreciate it. Thanks to my parents and family for their unconditional love and support throughout my time here and beyond. I really appreciate the time, the money, the energy, commitments. Like someone said earlier, rowing is the worst spectator sport, so, especially appreciate you coming out. My brothers, of course, are here. I likely wouldn't have joined the team had my older brother, Kevin, not been on it, so thank you there. My teammates, this is one of several ways that you see the lasting impact that Malvern Rowing's had on me just to this day, that I'm this close with these guys and, our other teammates. Finally, I want to thank Coach Hoffman. I can't think of many other people aside from my parents have had such a lasting influence on my life. Mostly a positive influence, at least 99%. Without Coach Hoffman's coaching, his life lessons, his mentorship, I wouldn't have gone to the school I did. I likely would not have become a Marine officer. He actually wrote one of my letters of recommendation for officer candidate school. And I likely wouldn't be where I am right now. So even today, at 32 years old, I still seek his support and counsel from time to time. So I'm very grateful for that. And so, yes, thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks.